The content of this meeting is being sent to one or more apps. Alert.
I think I'm unmuted
The host
now.
has started broadcasting the meeting on YouTube. Alert.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, Michael.
Okay, I'm on.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm calling to order this meeting of the Sustainable BC Committee, Monday, April 28th, 2025, 1:31 p.m. We'll just go around and introduce ourselves, just your name and your position or interest here on the committee and where you're zooming in from.
Yeah.
I'll just call on folks around my screen. So I am Andy Humboldt, community volunteer and chair of the committee, zooming from my home in Battle Creek, city of Battle Creek.
Yeah.
Michael, go ahead.
I'm Mike Wyszynski. I'm a volunteer member, and my interest is in things we can do right now. Seems like there's a
Ryan
lot,
Ring has joined the meeting. Alert.
and I'm happy to be here and happy to have learned how to use Zoom.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Dee?
Hi, I'm Dee Chauvin. I am a community volunteer and I am zooming in from my home in Battle Creek.
Thank you. Chris?
Yes, good afternoon. Chris Martin, urban planner at Battle Creek Unlimited. Zooming in from my office here in Battle Creek.
Thank you. Ryan?
Ryan Ranke with the Calhoun Conservation District, zooming in from office in Marshall.
Thank you. And Patty?
Patty Hoke Meluish, city employee, environmental department, zooming in from the Department of Public Works in Battle Creek.
All right. Let's see, I believe our quorum is 7 and we only have 6 members here, so we'll skip the minutes for now.
Okay.
And Patty, I'll just turn it over to you then for updates and whatnot.
All right. Yeah, it's been okay. And on the agenda, I have city energy efficiency activities, and there's really nothing new to report since last time. We're doing the on-demand programs with 3 of the facilities. So that's in the works. Updates from last time. I looked back at the minutes and realized I was supposed to send everybody an email with some sustainability ideas and goals, and I didn't do that. So I'll put that back on my list of things to do after this, because we were talking about trying to get the sustainability plan kind of updated and work on some of the goals in the plan. And yeah, so I think that should be kind of high on our list right now. So I'll put a star and I will get that out soon here. We had an electronics and polystyrene recycling event back on March 22nd. Dee was there. Thank you. And we ended up collecting 17,400 pounds of electronics and 1,130 pounds of styrofoam, and only over 300 cars came through that day. So that was probably one of our biggest events, but it went really well. This last week, actually the whole month of April's been a little crazy. We had 1,600 trees to get in the ground for part of the grant for planting along Jackson Street. And we paired that up with Earth Week last week. So we had just tons of volunteers and we ended up getting all the trees in the ground. And in addition to that, a bunch of sites cleaned up around the city. We just sent volunteers off with tools and trash bags, and we don't have a count of any of that yet, but it went really well. So lots of community participation, which was great. And then on Friday, Kellanova, for I think this is the 5th year in a row now, maybe, yeah, it's 5. They're the branch off of the Kellogg split. So Kellanova, they have a Go Green team, and this is the 5th year that they bought trees for the city and planted them in a public spot. So this year, 10 trees went in at Claude Evans Park. So they buy the trees and their crews come in and plant them as well. So that was Friday. So that was great. Upcoming stuff. Right now, the county's having their household hazardous waste and electronic event going on right now. So if you have anything you want to drop off, and you have until 5:30 today, that's at Bailey Park. We have an open house coming out up at the Department of Public Works on Wednesday, May 14th, and it's open to the public, free event. Kids can climb around in our trucks, honk the horns, all that kind of stuff. So that's from 4 to 6 on May 14th. Also as part of that tree planting grant, we have, we're partnering with the Kellogg Bird Sanctuary. And so they are going to be doing 3 birding events in Kalamazoo. So right now, and we don't have any of the data yet, but since the fall, they've been sending some students out and they're collecting data on what birds they identify out on Jackson Street in the forest. And so we'll get that information, but they are also going to do 3 birding walks along the linear path near the plantings. And just teaching, the first one's going to be teaching people how to identify birds with the Merlin app and just different ways to do bird ID. So it's just an hour long, May 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m. And we're going to park, we'll send out more information, but it's going to be along the linear path. So. And then we're also trying to organize a garlic mustard pull in that same area on Jackson Street to get started on getting some of that out of there. It's a great, easy volunteer event. And we also have some native plants to put in that were purchased by the Kellanova team as well. So that's something that we're going to schedule for probably in the next couple weeks. So that's what's going on pretty much. I'll also go over our grants that we were awarded a Battle Creek Community Foundation grant from the Thelma Greer Tree Fund, which is going to purchase 10 additional trees for Claude Evans Park. And we also are working with the Kalamazoo River Watershed Council on a grant called Forest to My Faucets, and that's for planting trees. And we're going to put in 93 bigger trees. They're going to be like 7-gallon containers, trees out at the wastewater treatment plant property right along the Kalamazoo River. So kind of for erosion control and habitat. And there we've had some dying ash trees in that area. So that's coming up probably in May, June. And then pending, we applied for a Michigan Department of Natural Resources urban forestry grant, and we should be hearing back from that soon. That one's pretty competitive, and it's the 3rd round of 3 of that funding. So we'll see how that comes out. Yeah, so that's what we have going on at the city. One other thing the county is working on, I'm hoping to get Sarah Lundy here to chat about it, but they're working on a new solid waste plan for the county. It's for a 5-year term. And so they're trying to look at they're trying to get kind of baseline data on recycling rates and solid waste rates and just data gathering right now. And then they're going to come up with a municipal solid waste plan for the next 5 years. So Sarah's been working on that. So I like I said, I hope to get her in and maybe share more details on that with this group. So.
And is there some composting related to that? I'm just looking at the item on the agenda. It also says, I know maybe one of the last times Sarah was here, she talked about a
it
potential
does say composting. Yeah. Composting is part of that too. So they have the meetings are open to the public. If it's anything anyone is interested in going to, they are meeting, from 4 to 5 on, when is the next one? They meet in Marshall. Let's see. Is it that day? I'm sorry, I should have that date. Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out for you. Because they were meeting in the morning and now they're meeting in the afternoons. But yeah, they meet once a month. It's open to the public if anyone's interested in attending. So
okay.
So yeah, that kind of wraps up what's going on here at the city. So and I do still go ahead.
I was listening to a story, I think, or listened to half of it or something on NPR or someplace, science something or other about. I was surprised that the gist of the story was how much of a difference it makes to get compostable material out of the garbage uh, with regard to how much methane gets produced at landfills.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And if we're able to remove as much of the sort of compostable, degrade rot, anything that rots is going to create methane inside of the landfill, and methane is whatever the number is, 12 times more powerful than CO2 or whatever, as a greenhouse gas, maybe even more. I forget what the number is, but you know what I mean. But I don't know why I was surprised at that, but I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. So, composting is not only a positive of using the compost to do whatever you're going to use your compost for, but also the benefit of it not going in the garbage. I think maybe I had assumed that, if there's compost stuff in the garbage, it just breaks down as opposed to a plastic bag or something, but it's actually actually not a good thing greenhouse gas wise to have that stuff in the landfills.
Yes, good point. And we were talking, I think I had mentioned last time, we're just starting to look into some community food waste drop-off program,
Yeah.
like a pilot program to get started here in Battle Creek. And I don't know if I had mentioned it before, but Portage just started one with My Green Michigan, is that what it's called? That they just started one in many of their parks in Portage just at the beginning of the year. So I'd like to go over and check out how that's going and pop in and look and see if they have contamination in their bins, and because we were talking about maybe not having them at a public park, but maybe still accessible to the public. But we had talked to a church and they were willing to put it in their parking lot. So just letting people know where some of the facilities are, but not having them so easily accessible that someone just mistakes it for a garbage can. So yeah,
Right.
that's something we're looking into. So
Good.
Yeah, I think there's actually, I was just trying to Google it to find it, but statewide initiatives to, let's see, Michigan has a goal to reduce food waste in half by 2030 with composting as one of their key strategies. So, I had heard that and just Googled it to make sure that I was remembering it correctly. But, I think that is a really great opportunity to, do something there. And then you were talking about the mustard pole, and recently in Kalamazoo, I also noticed that there were bins in a couple parks that were for garlic mustard. Like they had left it so that people could throw them away, which is better than pulling it and leaving it in the path kind of thing
yeah,
if people
that's
know what they're doing. So I thought that was a cool thing. And then if you're doing that community education event to kind of help engage people on that. Might be another.
yeah, that's cool. So they were just in some of the public parks then? Huh.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to remember which park I saw it in, but yeah, I thought that was really neat because yeah, you're supposed to take it out or bag it or something,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yep. Bessie said how they did it when she worked for the nature center was they put down some black plastic. So if where we're talking about is super concentrated, so we could just kind of pile it there, and then she said they would cover it up and then let it kind of degrade down so there wasn't so much biomass, and then move it out. So that's probably what we would try first, because there's a lot of it where we're going to be. So yeah. And then there's also talk back to food composting again of a composting facility coming into Calhoun County. I don't have a date yet, but there's they're talking about bringing in a composting facility kind of up by the landfill. So it would be a commercial grade that would could handle, like, in your backyard compost site, your bin, you can't put in like the biodegradable compostable like silverware and the plasticware, but with these kind of facilities it gets hot enough that they can handle those kind of materials. So that'd be nice option for us, and then they resell some of the composted material too. So
Would that be available for residents too, Patty, or is that only for like large scale food production and
I am not
breweries and stuff?
sure. That's a good question. There's one up in the Lansing area currently, and I'm not exactly sure if they take drop off from residents. That's a good question though. Yeah.
Yeah, Dee, I've also seen that out at some of the parks in Kalamazoo too, with the collection for garlic mustard. Just that key identification, you want to make sure people are pulling the right thing though, right? When you start telling people start pulling stuff in the woods. But no, I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Clearly identified signage and such, so.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. So,
Patty, I have a little PSA update. I
yes,
don't know if there's
please.
it's open comment time or not.
Yeah, just go ahead while we're on
Okay.
while we're there.
Yeah, so BCU in collaboration with the city now has, and I can put this down in the chat, but the Kalamazoo River Naturalization project, which I've talked about before, we currently have a community survey available right now. The city finally has a web page. If you type in Kalamazoo River Naturalization, and I'll drop that in the chat, there's an open survey. It just takes a few minutes of time, run by our consultants, OHM and others. It's an ongoing survey. I'm not sure what the end date is to it yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from the OHM team, but there was a highlight in the newsletter, DPW's newsletter, that went out this spring, and just letting people be aware of the survey. So I'll just drop that in the chat, but yeah, feel free to let everybody take it. I know there's already been a decent amount of responses in there, but just spreading awareness. So I just dropped that website link in the chat, which links the survey.
985 / Kalamazoo River Naturalization Alert.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Thanks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want an update on kind of that project in general, Chris? I don't know if you'd mind sharing that, and Andy, if you don't mind. But Chris has been busy doing a lot of work on that. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have more updates on what's happening there, go ahead.
Yeah, so just some general updates. If you've been downtown, you've noticed that graphics packaging is pretty much fully, the property itself is demolished fully now, and they're essentially doing the environmental remediation side or green spacing of it now. They're also ripping up the adjacent parking lots. When I last drove last week, I noticed that. So that'll be huge. That'll come within the river portfolio after that's fully assessed and we do our environmental due diligence. So that's a public-private partnership we have with the third party that acquired it after graphics packaging through BCU. So we anticipate that be coming into our portfolio sometime later this spring or early summer after the due diligence. And then we're actively, we applied, same with the city with Patty. We recently applied the end of March. Can't believe it's already the beginning of May this week, but we applied for a Kalamazoo River watershed education grant along with our project. So there was a really unique podcast, and I'll try to dig it up and share it with the team. It's called Project Impact that the Kalamazoo River Watershed Council has done in the city of Kalamazoo to highlight and educate underserved communities on getting them exposed to water, paddling, safe fishing practices, and things like that. It's kind of a tried and true program that they've been doing now. This is their second year. And so BCU in collaboration with the Watershed Council, I thought this was a unique opportunity because this river project, like I've spoken to the group before, is a multi-year project, right? And there's still a lot of uncertainty left. And so I think bringing the community on board of the value of the rivers we currently have and the value of improving them and making that a community benefit could highlight, because there's so many needs that cities and communities have, like Battle Creek has. So a part of that award would go to river signage, safety signage. That would include signage along, especially the Battle Creek River, which is very beautiful. Signage for dam hazards, low-head dams like Verona Dam, wayfinding signage on bridges, telling people where they're located along the river. Also, including a universal design. If people are unfamiliar with that term, it's like an ADA boat launch. If you've ever been out to Bridges Park, there's one there. There's really none in the city of Battle Creek though. And so getting people exposed that way. And so it'll be, if awarded, we'll find out. It's through the Minneapolis Foundation. We'll find out in maybe about 2 months' time. If awarded, that would be good for 2 summer programming. And then some more highlighted properties that are needed through BCU. So some of it's it'll be for some strategic property acquisition that was highlighted in our report, and a lot of it is kind of split 50-50 with community engagement, some improved infrastructure, some awareness. The city also has access to kayaks, and so we're working with a small business development team downtown and the DDA, getting kids exposed to paddling, probably on lakes at first if they're new. But just getting them to show the value and also exposing them to fishing, doing a lot of outreach, especially to the youth focused. So stay tuned on that, but it's a unique partnership. Even if we're not awarded, like any grant, we'd hope to continue to pursue something like that, depending on the scope. But the unique thing with that grant, there was no match needed, and it was a great partnership between our 2 groups. So. And I'll follow up with that podcast that they came out in January to the group via email later. It kind of talks a little bit about the youth impact initiatives.
Kiona Ackley has joined the meeting alert.
Yeah, great.
That's kind of it for me, Andy, unless there's any questions.
Chris. Welcome, Kiona. Could you just say hi and who you are and where you're zooming from?
Yes, Kiona Ackley, joining remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan, and I am a community member here in Battle Creek.
All right, thank you. All right, Patty, other things, going down your agenda?
No, I guess I did want to ask this group about, we used to have a commission member on that we would, do we have one, or should we pursue that a little bit more?
Yeah, it would be nice to have. I know Roger Ballard was in the previous commission term. Roger Ballard was the commissioner who was assigned to the committee, and he attended pretty regularly. But
Nice.
since then, yeah, he did not get reelected. So yeah, we were without. And sometimes Mayor Benke is here, but he's kind of hit or miss. I know he's tries to get to as many things as he can. But yes, I guess is the short answer. If we could extend an invitation through Mark or however that works to get us a commissioner.
Okay, and speaking of the commission, I do think we should try and get in front of them a little bit, because we're in the plan, it says we're supposed to meet with them annually, and I never have, and I've been here 5 years now, so it's probably time to.
Yeah, we were wanting to do a whole workshop about the greenhouse gas thing and what to go, and Ted was like, "Oh, let's wait till the new manager," and well, now that's been delayed a whole nother whatever, and I guess maybe Patty, go back to Ted and say, "Hey, we can't just keep waiting around. We need to move forward." So, however he thinks it's best to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Or, maybe in 10, that's the kind of whole conversation with, hey, we would like a commissioner on the group, and how we need to get moving forward because we need commission guidance here to move forward. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, you had that presentation down. We did some consecutive workshops, and I remember, and then it was kind of like, we'll wait till they're newly elected, and then because we were kind of seeking kind of a thumbs up for us to pursue things as a committee with the direction of the commission, if that's what I remember correctly, like the next steps,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
beyond the greenhouse gas inventory.
I feel a little like we need to do something, because we were granted this money to do the inventory through the community foundation, and we haven't really released it, or it's done, it's sitting there, and that's what I don't like. I want to get it out there and let people look. So
Patty, does this committee, I know there's a massive committee page, but does it have its own website that lists? I know the plan is housed kind of through the planning commissions, but does this committee have its own project page where people can get information like that report and other things that are unique
We
to
don't.
sustainability?
It's on the Battle Creek Area Clean Water Partners page, but
Okay,
not on the city page. And we're in the process of getting a new website, so maybe
Okay.
that's something we could look into having.
because that might be nice to have just to reference it, especially for committee members too that are new. For me, like when I was new, there really wasn't much data beyond that plan that was created about 5 years ago for me to research.
Yeah.
So the report might be good to reference, and then just to be transparent to the public too, or even presentations that, like your presentation that you might put together to city council, or
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know. That's
a
just
great
that's
idea.
just an idea, low
I
hanging
like it.
fruit.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, not just this committee, but if, you know, right now, there's a page for boards and committees on the website, and you can scroll through and you can click on and you get the PDF for that committee that read about what it is and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, every committee then should have its own page. Like all of these committees the city has are generating content like this, at varying rates and amounts, but
Yeah, because if you remember the public and you were looking for greenhouse gas, you might not think going to a specific water website, right?
Exactly.
So,
And it's
right.
not even actually like it's not even a city page per se.
that's a
Yeah.
partnership. That's a multi-jurisdictional partnership.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Or
No,
even, or even, and this is probably more of a question to the communication people who are working with whoever to develop the website, is like some sort of searchable or like a database on the online of all the kinds of report. Like the committee generates all kinds of information like this and reports and public this and public that and public input and report on this and report on that and this federal grant report and that one. And like there's all kinds of it, right? And the purpose of all of that information is that it be accessible to the public. So maybe it's more of a library, a library or a resource center of all materials, and you can search it. You could sort it by committee. The committee, there's potential there to
kind of like a usable internal database, Andy.
yeah,
Because you could quickly understand how these committee pages could get filled up, but if you have a database, right?
yeah, and maybe
That makes sense.
maybe each item in the database is tagged with a committee name or keywords or something, and people are able to search. I don't know. We're now into wish lists for the web developers to consider, but
do you know where I should know this, but like where these recordings go from our meetings? Do you know?
as far as I know, they go on YouTube and the city's YouTube page, and there's
yeah,
a
you're
repository there. Like you can go to
Yeah.
the city's YouTube page and you can click through and look at all the various meetings that are, same
Yeah.
thing.
I
These,
think you're right.
yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, good suggestions, you guys. That's
Yeah, especially if they're already doing the overhaul. I didn't realize that. Then that's kind of your window every 5 to 10 years, right?
I know, yeah. So, yeah, so that's what I have for this time. Yeah, I'd like to start whittling away at the plan, but
Yeah. Let's go back then and wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess Ryan is not an actual member of the committee, is he? Or did we have him join? Patty, do you remember?
Ryan, Bessie and I were just talking about this, and you had expressed interest, but then I don't know if it ever happened. Did you apply?
I did not end up doing it just because I'm going to move out of the city soon, probably. So I felt like it was best not to be here long term for the sustainability group committee.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Well, okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people listed, but I know some of these are not. Like Skylar Huber resigned, but that would still be 12, so we would still need 7. So we still don't have 7 then. My point being, to approve minutes, from last time, we would need 7 actual members, which we don't have yet. So we'll just do those next time. All right, then, is there any public comment? Eric, do we have any public following along?
We currently don't have anyone in the waiting room, and we don't have any comments on YouTube either. And just to add to what was shared earlier, to the point about the recording of the committee meetings, those are, as you said, available on the YouTube channel, and we try to update our social media events on Facebook and Nextdoor, where we share that meetings are happening. We'll go back later and share that link to the recording there too. So trying to get it in as many places as we can.
Great, thank you. All right, then, any other announcements or comments or questions from members here, or members and guests?
Yeah, I'd like to, you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
This was real good for me. It gives me a real good overview of where I can participate. And I have to watch it, because when I speak, sometimes you hear my voiceover on my screen reader, but I'm very excited about what's going on. It's given me a better view of what all the things we have happening. And I just wonder how Patty manages it all. So anyhow, that's all I'd like to say.
I have a lot of help, so thank you. So.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
You bet.
Any other announcements or questions? We might be in for a quick one today.
I do have one other thing. I have some. Who do we contact about this new website that's being built? Who would we offer our, resources to?
I could be, if you have some ideas, let me know, and I could get it to our communications people. I don't know how much public input they're taking, but I'm sure they'd like to hear what you have to say. So
okay, great. I'll get it off to you, Patty. You'd be the liaison.
Sounds good. Thank you. Can I add one more thing? Dee, I ask you this every time. What's your podcast again where we could watch it?
Yeah, it's Connecting Communities, and it is available on any podcast streaming, as well as Public Media Network in Kalamazoo. You can get the videos on there, but let me see if I can pull up a link. Sometimes if it doesn't pop up with just Connecting Communities, you can look up Kalamazoo Earth Day. Their website has a link directly to it.
Wait, Dee, the podcast I was recommending, you did that then.
Is it? I was like,
I'm just on the link. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds okay. So I'm gonna put her podcast link from the Watershed Council, the one I was referencing for Project Impact.
I was like, that sounds like a project that we talked to them about. Yeah. But I'm sure they're talking to a lot of people. I do think I saw them featured on another podcast.
//in-the-community/alert.
That's fantastic.
Sorry to interrupt you there. That degree of separation cracks me up.
Christopher Martin to everyone. Connecting Communities podcast interview, January 9, 2025. Learn about the 2024 Kalamazoo River Youth Experience Program and hear from some of our partners. Alert.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else for the good of the cause? And Patty, you're going to get back to us with suggestions, asking for input about some stuff to focus on regarding the plan.
I will. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So, well, thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks all. Thanks for being here, Kiana. Thanks for jumping in after you're juggling your work day and everything too.
No problem. Thank you all. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks.
guys.
We will adjourn at 2:05.